Molly J, and I'm back at McHenry County College. This time I'm talking to Bev Albright, who is the head of the Special Needs Department here at McHenry County College. Thanks for sitting down and talking today.
My pleasure.
Well, first things first is, why does MCC have a Special Needs Department?
Well, every college and university, because of the Americans with Disabilities Act and the Rehabilitation Act, they have to have accessibility accommodations available to students with disabilities. So here at MCC, it's called the Special Needs Department. So we meet with students, they bring in their documentation, we discuss their accommodations for classes and other activities in the college, and then I explain to them how it's their responsibility to use those accommodations when they need them. So they learn about their rights and their responsibilities, and then we really count on them to use their services. Things like tutoring, note takers in the classroom, testing accommodations like extended testing time, test readers, things like that.
Now you said obviously special needs and students with disabilities.
Yes.
What type of, I guess what I'm saying is, who does this exactly serve?
Good question. Any student with a documented disability, and that could be a learning disability, a physical disability, medical issue, psychiatric diagnosis, any kind of documented disability has to be documented by their physician or their psychiatrist or through a high school special ed program. A lot of our students come to us with IEPs, which are individualized education plans that they have when they're in high school as part of the special ed program.
Wonderful. Now, are these specific classes that are offered to special needs students,
Not at
or
all.
is it more or less just a service?
It's their accessibility accommodations. So if a student has a physical disability, it's kind of easy to think about what those might be, like the automatic doors, elevators, special seating in the classroom. But when they have a learning disability or ADHD or some kind of more hidden disability, then that's when we get into things like needing a note taker in the classroom. So if they have a hard time processing information when they hear it, it's helpful to have somebody in class share their notes with our student. That's my favorite accommodation, by the way. It works wonders. And then the testing accommodation, sometimes if a student has anxiety or attention deficit disorder, getting them out of the classroom and into a more private, quiet setting to take their tests, again, does wonders. So it's a matter of matching the accommodations with the actual disability or diagnosis. And these are things that are legally required because of the Americans with Disability Act and the Rehabilitation Act. So we're just leveling the playing field. We're not putting them in separate classes. They're in classes with all the rest of our students. And in fact, when one of our students has a note taker, it's going to be a fellow classmate sharing their notes with our student. So yeah, they're right in there with all the rest of the students. They're taking the same exams, they're writing the same number of papers, they're doing everything that the other students are doing.
Wonderful. Now, you mentioned that like note-taking, for example, is done by one of the students, a fellow classmate. Is that something that a student can volunteer to be a part of to help out the special needs department?
Yeah, usually our students are, when I meet with a student to do an intake appointment, and that's one of their accommodations, they have to kind of decide when they're in the class whether or not they're going to need that particular accommodation at that time. So if they're having trouble keeping up with the notes, they go to the instructor. They explain that they're going to need a note taker for that class because they're having trouble keeping up. And we've done some preliminary paperwork, and the instructors know that they're eligible for this, so they know what to do. And they ask for a volunteer from the class, and typically, this is why I like this so much, because it just works. Typically the students who volunteer are really good students who take really good notes, and they know they take good notes, and they're very happy to share them with our students. So we end up with these wonderful students sharing their awesome notes with our students. And we look at our student success rate pretty regularly for our students who are using note takers in the classroom, and they're significantly enhanced, their success rates. They are very often, their rate of success is better than the general student population. So that's a big deal. We know it works. And we pay a little bitty stipend to the student for sharing their notes.
Nice.
And we have the note takers come and tell us often that they think they've taken better notes because they know they're sharing them with someone. They, you know, trudged off to class on a snowy morning because they didn't want to let their student down that they were sharing their notes
Sure.
with. So it works.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really great. Well, of course, just another avenue that we've learned here at McHenry County College, always trying to serve their students in every aspect of the word. So thank you, Bev, for sitting down and talking about the special needs department here at McHenry County College.
My pleasure.